Hello, 4th and 5th graders. It is time to move on to step 8, which is called cutting your audio. So, what does that mean? What is cutting your audio? Well, this is a very exciting step because this is the step where we really start to begin to build your podcast. We actually begin to assemble the podcast. But why is it called cutting your audio? Well, it's called cutting your audio because you are literally going to cut apart your interview. You're going to cut it into little pieces that you can use. But which pieces are you going to use? Well, you've decided that already because you put it into your script. All those little logs that you cut out and cropped out and put into your script as parts that they were going to talk, well, those are the parts we need to now actually cut out of the interview and put into a separate place so that we can use it and build the podcast around it. But because we're cutting it into pieces, we want to make sure that we're using a copy and not the original. Because the worst thing that could happen is we could accidentally delete the original and then all of our work would be done and our podcast would fail. So the first thing we need to do is make sure that we make a copy first. All right, let's get started. So the first thing I need to do is make sure that I have a backup, a duplicate. And you can see actually that here's my original interview and here's my, I actually have a backup copy already, but you can never have too many. So I'm going to do it again. So I'm going to push and hold. And notice that I've got two things here. I've got copy and I've got duplicate. Copy, while it sounds like what we want to do, that's not actually what we need to do. What we want to do is duplicate it. And there we go. Now I have original interview 3. So I'm going to go into that now. All right. Now that I've got my copy and I'm in my recording, what am I supposed to cut out? This is a really long piece of track. I mean, which part do I cut out? Which part do I leave? Where do I put it when I cut it out? Well, that's where your script comes in. Remember that as you were writing your script, you wrote down what you had to say, and then you put a little in this box what he or she said. Now, when you were logging, you hopefully logged a timestamp right next to the part where you said what it was. And the reason this is important is because now we're actually going to go back and we're going to find this timestamp and we're going to cut out that part. So looking at this first cut, I see that it was from 11 to 19. So I'm going to go back into GarageBand and I am going to look for 11 to 19. Now, I know that I said 11, but I don't know that I meant exactly 11 because 11 could have quite a bit of stuff in it. So I'm going to listen to it and I'm going to listen really carefully and make sure that it says what I want it to say, that it starts at the spot. So let's listen.
I had always loved boats, and when I was canoeing on the river, working at camp, I just loved the idea of building a raft, putting some kind of engine on it, and going down south. And when...
Aha. Okay, I'm glad I listened to that, because while over here it says 11 to 19, the part that I want to cut out is where he says he wanted to put an engine on a raft and go down south. And that doesn't start at 11. That actually starts more like 15 when I was listening to it. Again, I'm going to listen carefully, and I'm going to listen for where he exactly starts to say those words.
I just love the idea of building a raft, putting some kind of...
Okay.
Just love the idea of...
Aha, I like that. So it's actually right about here. And if I look really carefully, you can see these little dots along here. Yours might be bigger depending on how you recorded yours. But those little dots, those are the sounds that he's making. So I'm looking for where he starts to say, I always love the river, and that's where I'm going to start my first cut.
At camp, I just love the idea of...
Aha. One more time.
Working at camp,
Aha, so he says right about here. Okay, so now we're going to cut this. How are we going to cut it? Well, in the old days, they would actually they would have this on a piece of, on a recording, a big long ribbon recording, and they would actually literally take up scissors, cut that, and then tape it together with something else. Well, we don't need to do that because it's digital, but there still is a way to cut this apart. So what you're going to do is you're going to tap on this icon right here, just once.
Just love the idea.
Nope. There we go. So actually, I take that back. What you're going to do is you're going to tap on the track so that it turns this bright blue, and then you're going to double tap, and you're going to see this up here. And we don't want cut. We don't want any of these. What we actually want is split, because we're actually going to split this piece in two. So I'm going to tap on split, and notice now I've got this nice little pair of scissors. I'm actually going to split this into two pieces. And I'm going to do it by grabbing the scissors and sliding it down. And now you'll see, if I move that, oh, that did not work. Let's try it again. Split it. There we go, that worked. All right, it can be a little finicky. Notice now there's a little cut right here. There's a split. That's because this is now in two pieces. Well, what am I going to do with these two pieces? Well, let's find the end of what he says and make sure we've got the end, because in order to make a good split, I need a beginning and an end. So let's listen.
At camp, I just love the idea of building a raft, putting some kind of engine on it, and going down south. And when...
Okay. So going down south, I want to find that exact spot. I'm going to actually zoom way in because I really want to zoom in and find the spot where he says it.
Down south. And when...
Oh, because he says and really fast. So right here, you can see these little dots. This is the word south, and this is the word and. And I want to cut it in between those two. So again, I'm going to tap here, double tap, split, pull the scissors down really carefully, and now I have a split in that spot. All right, now what? Well, now I have got my first cut. This right here is the part that he is going to say. How did I know to pull it? Well, I pulled it straight out of here. It matches this right here. He says he wanted to put an engine on a raft and go down south. And that's literally what I've cut out. He says...
Camp, I just love the idea of building a raft, putting some kind of engine on it, and going down south.
And there we go. So now what are we going to do with it? Well, I want it to be separate. I want it to be in a different place, but I don't want to take it out of here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come down here to this spot right here, this little plus sign, and I'm going to add in another track. It's going to be another voice. I'm going to make sure that this vocal hall is down, because if you don't, it'll be super duper echoey and weird. So I'm going to turn that down. I'm going to go up here to the track view. I'm going to enter the track view. And here we go. And now notice I have a new track. So here's my audio that I have before, but I have a new space. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to create this as a backup space. So I'm going to grab this right here, and I'm simply going to pull it down. So now you can see that this right here is exactly what I want. And in fact, I can even mute this first one, and notice it goes gray. And now if I play it, there's nothing there. I've muted it. But hold on a second. If you wait just one more second.
Camp, I just love the idea of building a raft, putting some kind of engine on it, and going down south.
Okay. Did you hear that? I heard that. Let's listen to that again. See if you can hear what he says at the beginning.
Camp, I just...
Camp I. Camp I. That's not what I want. I want him to say I. But I caught the end of the last sentence in there. Darn it. So what am I going to do? Well, luckily, there's a solution. What I want to do is find the spot where he says I.
Camp, I...
Oh boy, that's going to be tough. I think that little dot right here is the P. So I'm going to try right here. And now here, we don't actually have to split it again. What I can do is I can grab just the edge of this, and I can actually drag it and make it shorter. So I'm going to make it a little bit shorter, and I'm going to listen to it, and let's see if I did it right.
I...
Oh, did you hear that? I heard I. This is a really finicky thing. You got to be listening really carefully and make sure that it sounds exactly the way you want to sound it. So I'm going to move forward just a little bit more, and let's see if I got the I. Nope, still got the P. A little bit more.
I just love the idea of building a raft, putting some kind of engine on it, and going down south.
Uh-huh. I like it. The end, that's a little funky too. Let's double check that beginning though. First, let's do this. Ooh, I got it just right. I hear the I. Now, let's extend it and listen to this.
South.
Yeah, I think that's pretty good. So, I've got my first cut of my audio. All right. Now that we have the first one, let's look at doing the second one. So I'm going to go back to my script. I'm going to find this one. He says, one day they said the Louise was for sale. I know that that should be from 33 to 35. All right, let's go look. 33 to 35. Here's 33. Here's to 35. So I should be able to listen to this and hear him say that. Uh-oh, what did I forget to do? Oh, notice that that is still grayed out. So in fact, I can't hear anything. So I'm going to need to come back over here and unmute it. Aha, there we go. So now 33 to 35. Let's listen.
Just great to sit and talk to them. And one day they said the Louise was for sale.
Oh, this should be a good one because he pauses right before it. Now, I'm looking at these little dots right here, and I think this right here, he says, one day they said the Louise was for sale. So I bet if I split it right here, double tap, split, pull down. Let's see.
So in the dark, I went down.
Yep, that's exactly where I want to do it, right there. Again, double tap, split, pull it down, done. I've got it. Here we go, pulling it down. I'm going to mute the top one, and let's listen to see if I got it or not.
And one day they said the Louise was for sale.
That was pretty good. But did you hear that little breath at the beginning? Let's listen to that again.
And one
Yeah,
day,
there's a little sound there. So I'm going to just pull it in just a little bit, just to make sure that it sounds good.
and one day they said the Louise was for sale.
Oh, that's perfect. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Okay, the next one. Let's time to go on to the next one here. Next one is, I'm on a roll. I'm doing good. Oh, I decided I had to have it. Great. That, I think, is literally the next thing he says. So, oh, no, it's not. He says something about going down in the dark. So let's listen.
So in the dark, I went down and looked at it and decided I had to have it.
Ooh, okay. All right. Okay, so I'm going to, this one is hard because I don't see any dots in here because he kind of whispers that. So let's listen to that again.
And decided.
Okay, decided. I'm almost positive that's the spot I want. So highlight it, double tap, split, pull down. That's the beginning.
I had to have it.
Oh, yeah, I like that. All right, double tap, split, pull down. Pull it down, literally, so that we have it on a separate track. Mute the top one, and let's listen to see if I got it right.
I had to have it.
Hey, I like that. I like it a lot. But maybe he might say, I decided I had to have it. I think, let's look at my script. What does he say here? I forgot. I decided I had to have it. I cut off the decided part. So how do I get that back? Well, just like before, when I can drag on this little corner and make it smaller, I can also drag on this little corner and make it bigger. So here we go. Let's see if we can open it up to the part where he says, I decided.
And decided. Decided.
Nope, that's the middle of the word. So let's see if I did it this time.
And decided.
Ooh, he says, and decided. So I'm going to zoom in again. See if I can't find exactly the right spot.
And decided. Decided I had to have it.
All right, let me think about this here. Because I think he says...
Read it and decided.
He doesn't say I decided. He said and decided. Okay. Well, I'm going to leave it.
Decided. I had to have it.
I'm going to leave that there for now. I can always change that later when I start to make my narration. But you can see already what I'm pulling here is I'm pulling something that is starting to look like a podcast. This is actually literally what our podcast is going to look like. So here is my dad talking in those little spots. So this step is all about finding all those little spots that you've got in your script. Each one of these matches a spot in your script where somebody is talking. Not you, but the character, the person who's telling your story, that they are doing the talking. So you're going to pull these. That is today's assignment. Pull your audio cuts. Good luck.